report says we are at page 109. Last head word was
Fine. Okay.
inject. Okay,
Inject.
and
Okay.
new word type of lesson. Okay, so let's start
Hmm. Okay.
with revision. Let me just scroll down. Or there we go. First question. Ready?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm ready.
What does someone mean when they say they want to escape the rat race? What does someone mean when they say they want to escape the rat race? When someone says
Yes.
they want to
When
escape
someone
the rat
says
race,
they want
they
to
mean
escape
they
rat
want to
race,
stop working
they mean
in a
they want to
highly
stop working
competitive and
in a
stressful
highly
environment.
competitive and stressful environment.
Give me an example. Give me an example, please. It's time I got out of that rat race.
It's
I
time
can't work
I got
these
out
long
of that
hours
race.
anymore.
I can't work these low hours
Anymore.
anymore.
Very good. How can an inventor ensure that nobody
Mm.
steals their ideas? How can an inventor ensure that nobody steals their ideas? An inventor can ensure that nobody steals their
An
ideas
inventor can
by
ensure
obtaining a patent
that nobody
on their
steals
invention.
their ideas by obtaining a patent on their
And
invention.
how can we prevent our written or artistic work from being stolen? And how can we prevent our written or artistic work from being stolen? We can prevent our written or
We can
artistic
prevent
work
our
from
written
being
or
stolen
artistic
by
work from
registering
being
the
stolen
copyright.
by registering the
Copyright.
registering the copyright.
How
Okay.
can we stop others using our trademark? How can we stop others using our trademark? We can stop others using our
We can
trademark
stop others
by
using
registering
our
the
trademark
trademark.
by registering the trademark.
Very good. Okay. Which of the following two business is more likely to be referred to as a startup? A new bookshop or a new software company? Which of the
Software
following
company
two businesses is more likely to be
is
referred to
more
as a
likely
startup?
to be
A
referred
new
to as a
bookshop or a
startup,
new
a new
software
bookshop,
company?
a new software
A
company.
new software company
A new
is more
software
likely to
company
be
is
referred
more
to
likely
as
to
a
be referred
startup.
to as a startup
Very good. Why? Why? Because it's more likely that the business
because
model is scalable
it's more
and
likely
that
the
the
business model
entrepreneur
is
has a plan to
scalable
grow the
and that
business
the
rapidly.
entrepreneur has a plan to grow the business
Rapidly.
hmm, grows rapidly. Okay.
Very good. What are the four stages of a product life cycle? What are the four stages of a product life cycle?
The whole
The
stages
four
of a product
stages
life
of
cycle.
a product life
The four
cycle
stages
are
of a product
introduction,
life cycles
growth,
are
maturity,
introduction,
and decline.
growth, maturity, and decline.
Very good. Why do high-tech products normally have fairly short life cycles? Why do high-tech
Short
products
life
normally have
cycles.
fairly short life cycles? High-tech
Life
products
cycles.
normally have
High-tech
fairly
products
short life
normally have
cycles
fairly short
because
life
technology
cycles
develops
because
quickly and
technologies develop
products become
quickly
obsolete.
and the products become obsolete.
Very good. Why do you think? What do you think can help a product to have a long life
Help a
cycle?
product to have
What
a
do you
long
think
life
can help
cycle.
a product to have a long life cycle? I think being low
I
tech,
think
being a
being low
brand
tech,
that
being a
consumers
brand
trust,
that
etc.,
consumers trust,
can help a
etc.,
product to
can
have a
help a
long
product
life
to
cycle.
have a long life cycle.
Very good. Okay, next. In this organogram, who does the production manager report to? In this organogram, who does the product manager
The
report to?
person to
In that organogram,
in that
the product
organogram,
manager
the product
reports to the head
manager
of operation.
report to the head of operations.
Very good. And who does the head of R&D report to? And who does the head of R&D report to? The head of R&D reports to the general
The head
manager.
of R&D reports to the
General manager. Okay,
general manager. Okay.
very good. Okay, next. Is the machinery in a factory a tangible asset or an intangible asset? Is the machinery in a factory a tangible asset or intangible asset? The machinery in a factory
The
is a
machinery, the
tangible asset.
factory, the tangible asset.
Very good, Omar. The machinery in a
The
factory
machinery in
is
a
a
factory
tangible asset.
is a tangible asset.
Very good. So what do we mean by an intangible asset? So what do we mean
What
by
do
an
you mean by an
intangible asset?
intangible asset?
By an
By an
intangible asset,
intangible
we
asset,
mean an asset
we mean an
that
asset
isn't an
that
actual
isn't
physical
an
thing.
actual physical
For
thing.
example, a
For
patent,
example, a
copyright,
patent,
or even just
copyright,
knowledge.
or even just knowledge.
Very good. Okay. Next, how how do you think the government could level the playing field for children growing up in your
Growing
country?
up in your country.
How do you think the government could level the playing field for children growing up in your country? I think the government
I think the
could
government
level the playing
should
field
level
for
the
children
playing field.
growing up in my country. Omar, I think the
Okay.
government
I think the
could
government
level
could
the playing
level
field
the playing
for
field
children
for
growing up
children
in my
growing
country
up in
by
my
investing
country
more in
by
them.
investing
More in
more
them.
in them,
Very good. Okay, one more. I think
more
the
in them.
government. Oh, let me
I
reconnect
think
first. One
the
moment.
government,
Okay, one more.
okay,
I think the government
I think the
could
government
level the
could
playing
level
field
the playing
for
field
children
for
growing
children
up in my
growing up
country
in my
by
country
investing
by
more in
investing
them.
more them.
Very good. Okay. In your country, what do you call the interest rate that is set by the central bank? In your country, what do you call the interest rate that is set by the central bank? In my country, we call the interest rate that is
In
set
my
by the
country,
central bank
we call the
base rate.
interest rate that is set by the central bank base rate.
Okay, what effect would it have on consumer spending in the UK if the Bank of England dramatically raised the base rate? What effect would it have on consumer
Okay.
spending in the UK if the Bank of England
Raise the
dramatically
base
raised the
rate.
base rate? If the Bank of England dramatically raised the base rate,
It
consumer spending would
consumer
plummet.
spending would plummet. Sorry, would
Oh, one moment.
plummet.
Okay, we're back. One
Okay.
more.
Okay.
If the Bank of
If the
England
Bank of England
dramatically raised the
dramatically
base
raises
rate,
the base rate,
consumer spending
consumer
would
spending
plummet.
would plummet
Very good. Why? Why? Because
because
interest rates
interest
would
rate
rise
would
across the
rise
board,
across the
and
board,
this would cause
and this would
consumers
cause
to
consumers
borrow less and
to borrow
save
less
more.
and
Save
save
more.
more.
Very good. What do we mean by the term parent company? What do we mean by the term parent company? By the term
By the
parent
term
company,
parent
we mean a
company, we
company
mean a
that
company
owns or
that
has
owns
control
or has
over
control
one or more
over
other
one or
businesses.
more other businesses.
Where can a parent company inject money into a subsidiary to prevent it from going bust?
It's going
Can a
past.
parent company inject money into a subsidiary to prevent it from going bust? Yes, a parent
Yes,
company
a
can
parent
inject
company
money
can inject
into a
money
subsidiary
into a
to prevent
subsidiary
it from going
to
bust.
prevent it from going bust.
Very good. Okay, that's the end of our revision. Let's have new word. Okay, so repeat.
Okay.
Candidate,
Candidate,
shortlist.
shortlist.
Very good. Okay, listen. The word shortlist is a noun. It means a
It's
list
a
of
noun.
people who have been
List
judged
of
the
people
most
who have
suitable for
been
a
judged
job,
most suitable for a job.
made from a longer list of
Made
people
from a
originally
longer list of
considered,
people originally
and from
considered,
which one person will be
from
chosen.
which one
For
person would be
example,
chosen.
if I were shortlisted or put on the
Shortlisted
shortlist for
or
a
put on a
vacancy,
shortlist
I'd be
or
pleased.
vacancy and be
The
placed.
difference between a job applicant and a
Job
candidate is that
applicant
an
and candidate
applicant
is
is
that
anyone who
applicant is
submits an
anyone
application
who
for a
submit an
particular job,
application for a particular job,
whereas a candidate is an
whereas the
applicant that the
candidate is an
company has
applicant
decided
that the
is
company
worth
decided
interviewing.
was interviewing.
Very good. Okay, let's practice. When a company is recruiting new staff, what's the difference between an applicant and a candidate? When a company
Staff.
is recruiting new staff, what's the difference between an applicant and a candidate?
Date.
When
When
a
a company
company
is
is
recruiting new staff,
recruiting new staff,
and the
the
candidate.
difference between an
When a
applicant
company is
and a
recruiting
candidate
new staff,
is that an
the difference
applicant
between
is
an
anyone
applicant
who
and a
submits
candidate
an
is
application
that an
for a
applicant
particular
is
job,
anyone who
whereas a
submits an
candidate is
application
an applicant
for a
that
particular
the
job,
company has
whereas the
decided
candidate
is
is
worth
an applicant
interviewing.
that the company had decided is worth interviewing.
Right? If you were shortlisted for a vacancy, would you be pleased or disappointed? If you were shortlisted for a vacancy, would you be pleased or disappointed?
If you are
If I were
shortlisted for
shortlisted
vacancy,
for a vacancy, I'd be
if I
pleased.
were shortlisted for a vacancy, I'd be pleased.
Very good. Okay, next AGM or annual general meeting.
AGM or annual general meeting.
EGM or extraordinary general meeting. Approve.
AGM or extraordinary general meeting. Approve.
Very good. Okay, listen. Approve is a verb. It means approve to give official
Approve.
agreement or permission to
Approve to
something.
give official agreement or
Although it
permission
depends on
to
the
something.
country, most companies
Although
are
it depends on
obliged
the
by law
country,
to hold an
most of the
annual
companies are
general meeting
obliged
or
by law to
AGM.
hold a general meeting or
The board of
AGM.
directors must attend an AGM, and shareholders have the right to attend
AGM
as
and
well.
shareholders have the right
At
to
an
attend as well.
AGM, various things happen. Auditors are
Various
appointed,
things happen.
accounts are approved, and
Auditors are
it's
appointed,
normal for
accounts are
dividends to be
approved, and
declared.
it's normal for dividend to
If
be
there is an
declared.
important matter that needs
Important
resolving before
matter
the next
needs
AGM is scheduled
resolved
to take
before the next
place,
AGM is scheduled
directors
to
can
take
organize
place.
a meeting called an
Organize a
extraordinary
meeting
general
for
meeting
an
or EGM.
extraordinary meeting or
Let's
EGM.
practice. What do the letters AGM stand for? What do the letters AGM stand
The
for?
AGM
The
stands for
letters
the
AGM
letters
stand for
AGM
annual
stands for
general meeting.
annual general meeting.
Are shareholders in a company obliged to attend
Right,
AGMs?
attend
Are
AGM.
shareholders in a company
Holders
obliged to
in a
attend
company.
AGMs? No. Shareholders
No,
in a company
shareholders in
aren't
a company
obliged
aren't
to attend
obliged to
AGMs,
attend
although
AGM,
they have the right to do
although
so.
they have the right to do so.
Very good. Tell me a few things you'd expect to happen during an AGM. Tell
AGM.
me a few things you'd expect to happen during an AGM. During an AGM,
During
I'd
an
expect
AGM,
auditors
I'd
to be
expect
approved, appointed,
auditors to be
ap-
appointed,
accounts to be approved,
accounts
dividends
to
to
be
be
approved,
declared,
dividends
etc.
to be declared, etc.
Very good. What do the letters EGM stand for? What do the letters EGM
What does
stand for?
AGM stand
The
for?
letters
The
EGM
letters
stand for
EGM stands for
extraordinary general meeting.
extraordinary general meeting.
Very good. When might a board of directors organize an EGM? When might a board of directors organize an EGM? A board of
AGM.
directors might
A board
organize
of
an
directors
EGM
might
when
organize an
there's an
EGM
important matter
when there
that
is an
needs
important
resolving
matter that
before the
needs
next
resolving
AGM is
before the
scheduled
next
to take place.
AGM is scheduled to take place.
Very good. Okay, next. Okay, here we go. Notice.
Okay. Notice.
Petty cash.
Petty cash.
Petty cash. Very good. Okay, so this word notice as a noun. So, notice as a noun means an advance notification,
Advance
usually written,
notification.
of the
Usually written.
intention to withdraw
The
from an
intention to
arrangement or
withdraw
contract.
arrangement
For
or
example,
contract.
as a boss, I'd feel
As a
worried if
boss,
my best
I'd feel
employee
worried
handed
if a
in
best
their
employee
notice
handed in
because
their
it's
notice.
difficult to find replacement for
Difficult
their
to find
position.
replacement for the
So
position.
notice is the same word for resignation letter, like that notice.
Resignation letter. Okay.
Okay. Petty cash, when we say petty cash, it's also a noun.
Petty
It means
cash.
a small
It's
fund
a
of
noun.
cash that a
A
firm
small
keeps
fund of cash.
for the payment of incidental
Payment of
expenses. For
incidental
example, we
expenses.
call the fund of cash that offices put
Fund of cash.
aside to pay for small
Officer put
expenses
aside for
at short
expenses
notice petty
at a
cash.
short notice. っていきましょ
Very
う。う
good.
ん
Let's practice. As a boss, how would you feel if your best employee handed in their notice? As a boss, how would
Other
you feel
boss,
if your best employee handed in their notice? As a boss, I'd
as a
feel
boss, I'd feel disappointed
if my best employee
if my best
handed in their
employees
notice.
handed in their notice
Why? Why? Because it's
because
difficult to find a
it's
replacement
difficult to find
for
a
their
replacement
position.
for their position.
Very good. Next, repeat the middleman.
Middleman.
Cut out the middleman.
Uh, cut out the middleman.
Omit.
Omit.
Very good. Okay, listen. Cutting out the middleman means dealing directly with the seller,
To
dealing directly with the
direct with the
supplier,
seller,
or dealing
dealing with
directly
the
with the
supplier,
manufacturer, and omitting
with the
any middleman
manufacturer.
such as an agent. For example,
Agent.
if we phone a hotel and book a holiday directly with the
Hotel
hotel
and book
rather than
holiday
use a
direct
travel
hotel.
agency, then we're
That's
cutting
the
out the
travel.
middleman. In
Cutting
a
out the
distribution
middleman
channel from manufacturer to consumer,
channel
the
from
middlemen are
manufacturer
normally
to
the
consumers.
wholesalers and
Middlemen are
retailers.
normally the wholesaler and the retailer.
In certain
Hmm.
situations,
Okay.
cutting out the middleman can
Such a
save
situation.
time and
Cutting
also
out the
money,
middleman can
as
save
the
time and
middleman
also
often
money.
earns a commission
The middleman
or a
often
fee
earns a
or
commission
introduce a
fee
markup.
or introduce a markup.
Okay, let's practice. Give me an example of the expression to cut out the middleman.
To
Give
cut
me an
out the
example
middleman.
of the expression to cut out the middleman,
To cut
please.
out the
By
middleman.
organizing our
By
holiday
organizing
ourselves,
our
we
holiday
cut out the
ourselves,
middleman
we
and
cut
save
out the
hundreds of
middleman
pounds
is and
and s-
save
and hundreds of pounds.
save hundreds of pounds.
Very good. If we buy a product directly from a manufacturer, who are the middlemen we are cutting out?
Who are the
If
middleman
we
we
buy
are cutting
products
out?
directly from a
By product
manufacturer,
directly
who are
from
the
a
middlemen we are
manufacturer.
cutting out? If we
We
buy
are
a
cutting
product
out.
directly
If
from a
we buy a
manufacturer,
product
the
directly
middlemen
from a
we're cutting
manufacturer,
out
the
are the
middleman we are
wholesaler
cutting out
and the
are the
retailer.
wholesaler and the retailer.
Very good. Okay, next let's have business structure number three. Okay, so
Structure
repeat
number three.
limited company
Limited company,
or LTD. Okay, member.
Ltd. Member.
Very good. Okay, listen. When a company has LTD at the end, limited, as a
Ltd.
limited
At the end,
liability
limited as a
partnership,
limited
a
liability
limited
partnership.
company is a type of incorporated
Is a type of
organization in the UK and some
organization
other
in the UK.
countries. A limited
Some other
company has the
countries.
letters LTD written after its
Has
name.
that Ltd.
A
written
limited
after its
company is
name,
owned by shareholders, also known
owned
as
by
members.
shareholders, also
If
known
the
as
business
members.
fails, members have limited
Members.
liabilities
Members have
and
limited
their personal
liability.
assets cannot be used to pay off
Personal
company
asset cannot
debts.
be used to pay off
The people
company debts.
responsible for running a limited company are
Responsible
called
for a
directors.
limited company are
A
called
director usually
directors.
owns shares in the business but may not.
Yes, but
Okay,
may
let's
not.
practice. Mhm. What does it mean if a company has the letters LTD written after its name?
Mr.
What
After
does
its
it
name,
mean if a company has the letters LTD written after its name? If a company has the
if a
letters
company has the
LTD
letters
written after its
Ltd
name,
written
it
after its
means
name,
that it's a
it
limited
means
company.
that it's a limited company.
If a limited company fails, can the personal assets of its shareholders be seized in order to
Shareholder
pay off the
basis
company's
in order to pay
debts?
off the
If
company's
a
debts.
limited company fails, can the
Company
personal
fails
assets of its shareholders be seized in
be
order to
seized
pay off the
in order
company's
to pay
debts?
off the company's
No.
debts.
If a
No,
limited company
if a limited
fails,
company
the
fails,
personal assets
the
of its
personal assets
shareholders
of its
can't be
shareholders
seized in
can
order
be
to
seized
pay off
in
the
order to
company's
pay
debts.
off the company's debt.
Ragged, what do we call the people responsible for running a limited company? What do we call the
What
people
is
who are
called
responsible for running a limited company? We call the people
we call the
responsible
people
for running
responsible
limited
for running
company
limited companies,
directors.
directors,
Very good. Thanks. Repeat. Corporation.
corporation.
Very good. Okay, listen. The term corporation is used a
corporation
little
is
differently
a little different
depending on where you are in the
depending
world
on where
and
you
who you are speaking to.
who you are speaking
In the
to.
UK, for example, a corporation is any organization
Corporation,
that is
an
legally
organization that is
incorporated,
legally
meaning
incorporated.
that it's registered as a
It's
separate legal
registered as a
entity
separate
from the
legal
people who run it.
entity from the people who run
In
it.
everyday English, however, most people tend to use the
People
word
tend to use the
corporation
word
when they're talking
corporation
about
when they're
any
talking
very
about
large
any
company.
very large companies.
Very good. Okay. Okay, let's practice. In
Okay,
everyday English, when might people choose
might
to
people
use the word corporation
use the
instead
word
of
corporation
company?
instead of
In
company.
everyday English, when might people choose to use the word corporation instead of company? In everyday English,
Use the word
people might
corporation
choose
instead of
to
company.
use the
In
word
everyday
corporation
English, people
instead
might
of
choose
company
to use
when
the
they're
word
talking about
corporation
a very
instead of
large company.
company when they are talking about a very large company.
Very good. Okay, so now let's move on to reading. Okay,
Reading.
so our reading is at page 71. Edward was lost leader. Okay, start with the first question. Why do supermarkets?
71. Why do supermarkets? Okay. Why do supermarkets and other retail businesses sometimes introduce loss leaders? Supermarkets and other retail businesses sometimes